So, hello everybody. We're out here at Tracy's Keeping It Real Land, and we're just out here freezing if we're outside. But of course, we're inside where it's warm. We're excited about being able to talk about the Girl Scouts today. But also keep in mind that it's kind of got a different climate in Minnesota right now, which the world is looking upon us. So we want to make sure we keep all of our girls and our kids safe as we move through and navigate through these days. But in the meantime, I wanted to just introduce the Girl Scouts of River Valleys, and it exists to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. We support all girls, they say, creating spaces where they can gather, learn alongside one another, and grow into tomorrow's leaders. We have many sports related outings and are working on new programming to fill the gap for our teens and tween girls. So, here today to join me is Marisa Williams, the CEO of Girl Scouts River Valley. Welcome,
Thank
Marisa.
you so much for having me, Tracy.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is so cool. I mean, I'm trying to think if I wanted to be a Girl Scout when I was a little girl. I know I love the cookies, as everybody does,
Yes.
but I don't know that I was involved, but I don't remember my childhood as much as I'd like to think.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have wanted to be a Girl Scout, but I know today,
Mm-hmm.
with all the cool things you guys are doing, I'm certain I'd want to be a Girl Scout today. So
I'm certain you would be too.
yeah,
And I'm a brownie dropout, so we're on keeping it real, so I'm gonna keep it real.
please keep it real.
Right? So I joined at 8 years old. I sold my cookies for a year. I was the top cookie seller. And in true Marissa fashion, I was like, okay, I've conquered that thing. What else do we need to do?
Okay.
Right? And so it's a full circle moment to come back and be part of leadership in Girl Scouts now. So it
Now,
feels
so
good.
so just bring us back. So does the brownies start the girls off, and then they go to?
Daisies. And Daisies was not around when I was younger. So Daisies is a newer development. So we start in kindergarten.
Mhm.
And I think one thing that most people don't know about Girl Scouts is it's a K through 12 program,
Okay.
right? I
Okay.
think you probably stop seeing, girls standing in front of the grocery store selling cookies
Mhm.
probably around age 11, 12. But we still have programming that takes them right up through their senior year in high school.
And that brings me to Marissa, a question for you.
Sure.
So what's the teenage and what's the tweens age?
So, one of the things when I first came to Girl Scouts, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm 3 years new to Minnesota and
Okay.
3 years new to Girl Scouts. And so I had to learn about the Midwest a little bit. I lived in Chicago, but I'm going to be very transparent with you. They said I lived in the Midwest when I lived in Chicago. I am learning the Midwest now.
You have officially
I have
joined
officially
the
joined
Midwest.
the Midwest Coalition,
Yes,
right?
you have.
And so, having a fresh perspective on an over 100-year-old organization, I think has been a real blessing for me in this seat because I can see things beyond where our tradition
Hmm.
would have people kind of stop looking for opportunities. And so when you don't have that, you know, staunch, like hard stop in tradition, you can think about, well, our mission has not changed, but our methods might need to,
Hmm.
right? Because as kids change, we have to change with them in order to be relevant. And so, one of the things that we've experienced is that drop off in middle school, as most sporting organizations do, and other youth development organizations. In middle school, a lot of kids decide to retreat, and for girls, particularly, their self confidence drops to the lowest it will ever be at the age of 12.
Right.
And
Okay.
so, why would you choose to go middle school alone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, how do we make this a relevant thing for your lived experience right now that you want to be a part of? You don't want to wear a sash, you don't want to wear a vest. Cool, we'll turn it into a denim jacket and make it cool,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Please make it cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I used to say all the time, like, we're gonna put a little Riz, make it cool
Mhm.
for our young people. And it's really about them saying, Miss Marissa, I'd really love to be in spaces with powerful women who have amazing jobs. And like, I want to ask them questions. Like, you look all put together now, but like, what did you look like in when you were 11 or 12?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what were you interested in? Like, how did you go from where I am right now to where you are? And I started to think about that because representation is critically important, but you can't aspire to be what you can't see.
Not at
And so,
all.
how do we place people in front of these young women who have all of these dreams and goals that they want to accomplish? And so, we birth the Girl Scout Leadership Institute, where they can come together as cohorts of teens and tweens and really experience mentorship, both peer and non-peer mentorship. They can do different projects, have world of work tours where they go to businesses and really get to see like all the cool stuff that exists inside of the organization and all of the jobs that they could potentially do. And so we've put a little twist on, it's not your regular troop meeting, right?
Okay.
And so we want you to be able to do Girl Scouts and do soccer and do track and do basketball and do dance. Girl Scouts isn't something that you have to do anything or, right?
Right.
We want to make it a part of your life, and it's a piece of something that you do that you will carry with you forever.
Nice. So with that, that's kind of a new way of looking at Girl Scouts, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So is that global, or is that mostly just here in Minnesota with the Girl Scouts Valley group?
Well, we have 111 councils across the country, but we also are a global entity, right? So we have the WAGs is what it's called. So the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. And so globally, all of the girls that are part of Girl Scouting in the States, they also have sisters in other countries, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so when you think about, what is our global charge, it's about being a sister to every Girl Scout. How do we make sure that we are developing the leaders of today and tomorrow? And so all of our councils, they do it their own way because regionally,
Mm.
everybody does their thing. They do it their own way, but they're trying to focus and shift not just on our daisies, our brownies, and our juniors, which is our elementary focus, but really, how do we make sure that the product of Girl Scout is the whole girl? And when they graduate from high school, they have this alumni network that anywhere that they go, they can say, I'm a Girl Scout, and they have a sister somewhere, right?
Nice.
That's the focus.
That's the connection.
Yeah.
And so that is where it is all over universal with
Yes.
that connection. Because I know a lot of times when you join something, if it's different somewhere else, there's no connection.
Right.
And so having it something that's the same no matter where you go is where it's a beautiful
And it's
connection.
comforting, right? Because it
Very.
feels like you take a little bit of home wherever you go.
You feel like you belong once you meet that person, especially if you're like,
Exactly.
hey, I'm a girl.
I'm a Girl Scout.
Yeah, so it
Yep.
works out really good. So, but how do you prepare the girls for leadership? I mean, I know you make the connections, you
Mhm.
mentioned that, but are there other things throughout the program, and when do you start working with them to prepare them for leadership? What age?
So, I mean, like I said, it's K to 12, and with the Girl Scout Leadership Institute, we're focusing right now on our 9th through 12th grade
Okay,
girls.
okay.
And so we have two partnerships that we just solidified last year. The Catherine's University, so we have girls that are on campus because that was a really big thing for me. I grew up as an upward bound kid and a trio kid, and so I'm first generation college student. And so being able to step foot on a college campus before I even knew that that was an option for me was life changing.
Okay.
I don't think I ever would have gone to the University of Pittsburgh had I not been able to set foot on Lincoln's campus, through an upward bound program and even visiting, cousins at Georgetown. I was like, oh, this is college. I think I like this.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you think about your own lived experience, you know that it's important. You didn't have that just for you. You had it so you could pass that on to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was really important that our girls are immersed in the college campus environment and ecosystem. And not just being in the place, but also building relationships with college students. So the college students have an opportunity to serve as confidence coaches for our young people, right? And
Yes.
so when you think about, a 19-year-old, now I like to think I look young, but I have a youth, so I am no longer a youth, right?
Yeah.
And so they are learning so much more from somebody who's like this much older than them, right?
Yeah.
And in the grand scheme of things, when you're an adult, 7 years isn't that big a deal.
No,
But
it
in
isn't. But
in
little,
childhood,
it's
it's
huge.
like
Yeah.
a lifetime away.
It is.
But they see something in those young people that are like, that's something I can reach out and touch, right? Like that's tangible for me. Like what Miss Marissa's doing right now, that feels like lifetime away.
Uh-huh.
But what this young woman is doing right now on St. Kate's campus feels like I could
can see
absolutely
myself
do
doing
that,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so the Minnesota State Mankato is our second partnership that we had developed because Girl Scouts River Valleys is 49 counties wide. So we are not just the Twin Cities. And so if I do something here, I need to make sure that I can replicate that in other spaces across the state that makes it easy for our girls to get to and their families. I don't want anybody driving 3 hours to do something that if I could replicate that close in a city close to them, I want to be able to do that.
Nice.
So if you're listening and you're in Winona, you're in Rochester, and you want to make this happen, call me.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
It is.
And can it be that simple for the volunteers for the girls? Because I know I was thinking about before you mentioned how the connection is with the girls and universities, because now and then also just having connections with girls in other cities, and I see the mentorship and all of that, but I wondered from a like a boys and girls club thing where they're looking for mentors or volunteers rather, how does that play for people across our community?
Well, Girl Scouts cannot function without our volunteers. Like our volunteers are the heartbeat of our organization. And so when I think about, the traditional and I cringe a little bit at traditional because sometimes that has multiple meanings. But when we think about the traditional troop model, it was moms, parents, caregivers who had the time to give. And if you didn't have a parent who had the time to give, then were you a part of a troop? Because that was kind of like the pay to play. And while it was free to volunteer, you still had to give your time.
And that's
And
valuable.
if you don't have that time, or if you have both of your parents are working or working multiple jobs, then how do you participate in this experience? And so being able to do a call out to our corporate community and say, hey, we have an amazing experience. You could come to school, you could talk with these young people for 45 minutes, give them a glimpse of what you've lived through, highs, lows, all of those things, and answer some of their questions. It's easy as that. So we have so many different opportunities for episodic volunteers where you're like, Girl Scouts, oh my gosh, I do not want to be a troop leader. It's okay.
No, you don't
right? You don't have to be
go
that.
out there and
You don't have to do
hike
that.
and do
No.
all that. All the things that you think about when you think
Tracy's gonna get me talking about outdoors. And I told them when I interviewed, I said, now listen, I have been a camp counselor in my life. I will not be doing that again. I am Troop Beverly Hills through and through. Okay.
Beverly Hills, I got you.
It's like a bad hotel is camping. Okay.
Yeah. To me, I understand. I feel the exact same way.
Yes.
We're not 5-star. We are camping. But I get it.
Yeah.
So how do we make these girls? Because now we got the volunteers. So I don't wonder if that's a role they play in making sure that the girls see that they seem supported. Every girl seems supported, that they seem heard, and that they're empowered to lead. Because we know for girls, for adults, for anybody, trying to get in to fit in and to go along to get along is not always easy.
Yep.
And especially if you're put into a situation that maybe your mom thought was a good place for you to be.
Yep.
Maybe not you.
Yeah.
So how do you make that girl feel like, oh, okay, this is for me, because now they feel heard, they feel seen individually? How do you do that?
So I think that, agency is something that all girls have. Sometimes we just need to nudge them and educate them on how to use it, right? Because I'm not going to give you power. You already have it. right? I'm going to show you how to use it.
Right.
I'm going to show you how to light that match so that the flame doesn't go out. And then I'm going to also teach you how to light other girls' candles with you, right?
Nice.
Because a candle loses nothing by lighting another one,
Mm-mm.
right? And so how do we teach each other, how to use our voice, how to amplify other good ideas? Because it can't always be about you, right?
No,
And we have to teach young people that you don't always have to be the loudest voice in the room in order to be heard, right? And so teaching our young people not only about, how to have crucial conversations, how to agree and disagree with respect, because these are some things adults aren't learning well right now, right? And so how do we teach our young people how to do it better than we're currently doing it? Because my pastor says this thing all the time, and I told her I stole it from her. Thank you, Jory Thibodeau. Some things are caught and some things are taught, right? And so what are we allowing our young people to catch us doing? Because they are going to be so much better at imitating us than listening to what we say, but then watching us do something different.
Exactly. And
Right?
we can't always say, do as I say,
And not as I do.
That
Because
doesn't
these
work.
babies are not the 70s and 80s babies. They have access to Google.
They do.
They have access to Alexa.
And they can
They're
find
like,
out, what did she just say to me?
this ain't right.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and they're so much smarter than we were, right? Because they had access to so much information. And so it's really important that we are showing them what we expect and what we want them to do, because if I am successful in my job, I am creating a generation of young people across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa that look to each other for the strengths that their friends have so that they can build together. We're not looking to tear down.
No.
Right? How do I see that this person is amazing at public speaking? I'm a little shy. So how do I connect with her to figure out how do I build that skill set? And maybe she's going to see something in me that she wants to build and work on, and I can help her.
Right.
Because that's how you build community.
Yeah. And being able to see that strength and be okay with sharing with each other. And
Exactly.
That's very important.
It's not gatekeeping. Because at the end of the day, you don't want a bunch of Marissas around you. It would be so crazy. We would be a lot. We don't need that, right? Just like you don't need a whole bunch of Tracy's. You need people that complement you, right? So that everybody can win. Because that's the goal.
But now, as far as having Marissas around, do these young girls, because it's not often that these young girls see Black women in a power place in their lives, outside of their moms, do they really look at you like, wow, I could be you one day?
I've had so many stories, and I think earlier before we started rolling, we were talking about being vulnerable. And so I'm going to do this and try my level best not to get teary-eyed. But when I first came here, I had so many moms come up to me and say, when I showed my daughter your picture, she cried.
Oh.
And I was like, well, I was taken kind of aback, like, oh my gosh, like, why was she crying? And she said, because she said, Mommy, her hair looks like mine.
Oh.
It's curly, right? She's like, she looks like me. And it was so interesting. The first summer that I was here, The Little Mermaid, I guess it was the live action Little Mermaid, came out. And I think Chloe was the star of that movie. And so many little girls came to that just excited to see a princess that looked like them, right? And so I remember at one of our first fundraisers, Shaletta spoke and she introduced me and she said, listen, just like we got the Little Mermaid, all of these little girls in Girl Scouts River Valleys got their own princess in Marissa because she looks like them. And that was so powerful to me because I used to work for the YMCA, and one of the hashtags and the brands that I put into one of our programs called Y Achievers was success is colorful. And to see that come full circle and me be the focus of that was like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. I like it.
Nice.
Let's keep it going.
How nice is that?
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
And having the positive images come out of that conversation with kids.
Yes.
Versus
anything else.
Anything else. And so to me that it's essential that we are able to show our kids where they can be.
Yes.
And you're right. If we don't see ourselves in a certain position, we can't see ourselves in that position. And I think it's so important that young girls, especially if they have curly hair, it's like it's okay to have curly hair. You
It's
don't
okay
have
to
to
be
have
different.
straight hair.
No, you don't.
And you can still be beautiful where a lot of kids are being made to not be beautiful because their hair is not straight. So all of that is so important. And so I'm so glad that you're able to be that leadership in that area as well as so many others. And
Thank you.
so tell me, Marissa, what kind of a pipeline do you guys have? And I know we talked a lot about the kids and, network or fellowshipping with some of the girls at the colleges. But how do you transition them to make sure they feel like they can belong in college where maybe they're from homes that they were first generation college students? How can we make that pipeline happen from Girl Scouts to college?
Well, I think that's one of our focus points for GSLI. And so our inaugural year was 2024. And we had a young woman whose parents were okay with her participating in Girl Scout Leadership Institute, but it was already stated that she wasn't going to college.
That's what I'm always concerned about when you hear the
Yep.
program. So that's why I was wondering that.
And, she was a senior in high school. And so, she started out the year like, I really want to do this. But like, my family's already told me college isn't for me. And so to hear, once we got all the way through the program, that she got accepted into St. Thomas University in the Doherty School. And she is a college, at this point, she'll be a college sophomore, right? Like, those are the stories that I want to tell over and over again, right? I wasn't thinking about it, but I also wasn't exposed to it, right? And so it not only opened up her mind, but it opened up the mind of her parents to think, oh, this is possible. Oh, this is financially attainable by way of doing these things, right? Because it's about exposure. And so we don't want to put a lid on top of our girls. We want to open that thing up and say, this is what is available to you. Show us how we can help you do that, right? Because we want to be a partner. We don't want to be the focal point of the story. We want to be the storyteller, right? Like, they're the stars. We're just playing the background.
That's it.
That's what we want to do. So we want to help you achieve what your next best is, because your next best might not be college. It might be the trades. It might be direct employment. But whatever that thing is, Girl Scouts wants to have a part in playing that to be a support character for you.
Nice. And so the pipeline though, does it come like with the relationships with the universities?
So that's my role. I'm out trying to build rapport and relationship with universities, with I'm blanking Dunwoody. So when we think about the trades, we have a program called Power Girls, where we're focusing on young people who are really excited about working with their hands and learning more about the trades industry, because it's not a one path fits all. We have to be able to really think about what we call our power pathways. So whether that's college, whether that's workforce, whether that's going into the trades, we want to create an opportunity for you to experience what you might want to do. And ideally, you'll look at all three and then make that decision, right? And so with Power Girls, I mean, we're starting with, 8-year-olds with power tools in their hands, right?
Yeah.
I mean, last summer, they designed and built a mini golf course.
Oh, wow.
How many girl-led programs are doing stuff like that?
Yeah.
With all of these
none that I'm
different
aware of anyhow.
construction companies supporting it, right? And so it's like, I remember, and this is like the one quote from the summer, an 8-year-old came up to me and they said, Miss Marissa, this isn't my first rodeo with a drill.
No.
I said, well, it's mine,
Hey.
but okay, teach me what you know,
Right.
right? And so that level of confidence oozing from an 8-year-old, like, that's the stuff that gets me excited.
Wow, how nice and how cool is that? I love it. I love it. And getting excited about watching our future of our girls is so important.
Yes.
So when we talk about the getting excited and the different things, I know that you guys have a future ready programs and partnership, which you just mentioned. But are there other leadership programs outside of? I know we mentioned college, and you're trying to get them into some of the programs that they're looking at. Other opportunities outside of college. But what are some of the other programs that you might have that we haven't talked about or have?
So when you think about the base of Girl Scouts, it all of our programs follow a model, which is the Girl Scout leadership experience. Everything that we do ties back to a leadership experience for our 5-year-olds all the way up to our 18-year-olds,
nice.
right? And so we're teaching leadership. It's oozing from every single thing that we do. So every badge that these young people are earning, it's exposure to different experiences, but it's also about how are you thinking about this? How are you working with your troop? How are you working with your Girl Scout sisters to kind of figure out or problem solve? And so we're literally building small critical thinkers all across the state. And how does the state get to keep this amazing talent? You got to work with us, and you have to offer them internship opportunities.
Okay.
And you need to create opportunities for them to come see who you are and provide opportunities for them to walk around your facility and learn about the business that you have, so that when they think about, oh, when I'm a grown up and I need to apply for a job, where are the places that I visited as a Girl Scout?
And I thought
Right?
was really cool.
And it was super cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, I mean, I remember when I went to college, and I'm a recovering banker. I spent my first 10 years of my career in banking. It's like when you get to college, that first bank account you get, that's probably going to be where you get your mortgage. And banks, they bet on that every single time. So it's about relationship building. And so that's what we're trying to build through what we know is a proven process at Girl Scouts. We want to be able to share that with corporations and say, hey, we are one of the most trusted, I think we were number 11, most trusted organizations in the country.
Wow.
You should probably partner with us if you want some of what we got going on.
That it makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to figure out as we're talking. Okay, we got a need for some writers and
And we have
photographers.
young people that are dynamic in all of those spaces, right? We want to create spaces where they can really learn, and it's hands-on. I think that's the one thing that I don't know that we say enough. Girl Scouts is girl-led. It's not what Marissa wants to do, and then we tell the girls to do it. It's what do you want? And then we can create it.
And help you do it.
That.
That's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know you got partnerships with the MSU Mankato, you got the Minnesota Frost, and the Minnesota Wild. What does that type of partnership look like?
Listen, these young people lose their mind at all types of sporting events, and we love to see it, right? But we also want them to be able to see what happens when you're not on the field, on the court, on the ice, right?
Okay.
What are the opportunities that exist from a business perspective? And so we have a lot of different sports partnerships that we definitely want to grow to ensure that our young women are seeing the power of women in sports. And I think right now, shout out to the Lynx, because they are by far my favorite team in Minnesota.
Okay.
But they're doing it right. Right? It's not just about women who are on the court. It's about who are the salespeople? Who's the coach? Who is the president of the organization? Right? It is all women. So it's showing you that it's not about just who's playing the game, but it's who is running it.
Yeah.
And I want our young people seeing, like, what does management look like in sports? And yes, you belong there, because we have women that we can point to say, they're doing that amazing stuff. Look at Carly, right? Look at the coaches. Look at Rebecca Brunson. Look at, the folks that are in the sales team. Look at Jada. Look at Kate. Like, there's amazing people. Maddie, shout out to Leadership Twin Cities, who are doing awesome things, and our girls can look at them and say, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like I know them, and I ran into them in the hallway before I went and gave Nafisa a high five in the tunnel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to get them excited about the things that they want, so that when you say, hey, who wants to do an office tour, they're like, I'm down, right?
Because they see it's more than what they would have ever dreamed it being.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is too cool. So is that where kind of the emerging programs that focus on social media marketing and graphic design, is that kind of a part of that rolling into that?
Yes. And so we have ideas, right? Because it's not just about me being on a podcast. I mean, I love talking to you, Tracey.
Yeah,
But
right.
I would love for you to be able to talk to some of our young
Love
people,
to be
right?
able to do that.
And they want to have these types of opportunities and experiences. And I think the media gives us a lot of opportunities during cookie season, but then when cookie season's over, we don't hear too much, right?
Yeah.
We have powerhouse folks that we want to give opportunities to kind of test their public speaking and test their ability to manage behind the camera. And so how can we do that in a way that the pressure is low, right? But their reward is so high, because once they do it one time, they're like, I got it.
Nice.
I can do it.
Yes.
And so we're going to create a PR team solely focused on girls that will do all of the things that our adults do, but they're going to do it for our Girl Scouts.
Oh, and that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so they can direct their own podcast.
Yes.
Really, because
that is the ultimate goal.
That you're going to be getting a podcast
Yes.
studio, so
Yeah.
you're kind of really looking at setting them up to be able to do that kind of thing for the Girl Scouts. How cool is that?
Yeah.
You know, because we need young people to be able to sit in these seats and
Yes.
be able to do interviews, and if they get an early start and they can just, they don't have to try to conduct the whole interview because they get tired, but just enough to where they can say, okay, I'm good now.
Yeah.
And then someone else say, okay, because I don't know what that show is I watch on TV periodically, but it's a dad and his daughter sits next to him and his son's across the room, but they are all engaged in that conversation in this show. And it's cute too. And now you can watch them. You're watching them get older now.
Yeah.
The show is older and the kids are getting older. But I like how that show involved young people.
Yeah.
And now they're talking. I could just see them being sportscasters one day or whatever,
because they're comfortable, right? So the younger you get exposed to a thing, the more comfortable you are. When you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, you're not discovering who you are. You're just refining it by that point.
Yeah, because you've had opportunity to be there. And that's one of the things I have to give kudos to my grandmother. I mean, before I became the publisher and CEO of the MSR, I learned how to be a part of the community and a part of the paper by doing things out in the community before I even knew that this was going to be my destiny. So we got to have that. We got to allow our young people to have that opportunity. So kudos to the Girl Scouts for that as well.
Absolutely.
So we're at a part where we said, that's what you're known for. But
I get it. We're going to talk about it.
Hey, we got to talk about
it.
And now, did you happen to bring some with you anywhere?
Emma, do you have it in your car? I thought about it as I was driving.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure that you get some of our exclusive new cookies. Because we have a new cookie coming out.
Nice, because it's a cookie season. And
yes.
That's in February.
Yes, it is.
Next month.
It's like 2 weeks away.
Right now.
Yep.
And so what's the new cookie? Can we talk about it? Is that
absolutely.
Secret?
No, it's not a secret.
Okay.
No, it's called the Explore More, because we want our girls to get out and explore more. Right? And it is a chocolate sandwich cookie. Tastes like Rocky Road kind of ice cream. It is awesome. So I'm going to make sure that you get a couple of pink boxes over here. But you have to tell me, what is your favorite cookie?
I think my favorite is between the mint and the coconut on top. I don't know the name.
Okay. All right. So Caramel Delight.
Yeah.
All right.
Them are my favorite.
They are.
Yeah.
You like sugar. That's what you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
But it's funny.
We look and we do not judge.
A little bit.
Okay.
Because then I'll put it in my freezer.
And then you save it. And you're good.
And then kids come over and find it. My grandkids.
Yep.
And then I go ahead. You can have it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they call me Gaga. Gaga don't need them cookies.
Oh, see.
So I share
the babies,
but I get a chance to at least experience it, which is also nice.
I love it. And so cookies is always going to be a part of Girl Scouts. I mean, when you have a brand that is as well known as like Nike and Coke, why would you try to get rid of that,
I
right?
can't imagine.
It's not a thing. What I want people to know is what the cookies do for Girl Scouts and for our girls.
And that was going to be my next question: is what does that do? Where does the money go? How does that work? All that whole piece.
It is the engine that fuels our programming. And so one thing that I think might be not a mystery, but maybe something people don't think about is that we scholarship so many girls to have access to camp, to have access to just Girl Scouting every single day, right? So when you think about the budget side of things, we're scholarshiping up from our money over $300,000 to ensure that girls have access to our programming, have access to camp, have access to fun activities. And those dollars are coming from cookies. We think about girls that sell cookies and they see all these plushies and fun things that they get. We have girls that are going to Italy, the Galapagos,
Wow.
to Japan. They're fundraising through their cookie sales to travel and see the world.
Wow, how cool
Right?
is that?
They're fundraising through their cookies to go to horse camp. And some, I think, you hear all these amazing fun things, but some girls are selling cookies so that their parents don't have to pay for them to go to summer camp. They can fund it,
Nice.
right? These are business owners.
Nice.
This is the world's largest girl-led entrepreneurship program in the world.
Wow.
And sometimes we reduce it to Thin Mints, right? And so, as we are gearing up for cookie season, Minnesota's in an interesting place right now. And so we have some girls who might not feel comfortable selling cookies. And so we are going to be galvanizing our corporate communities to ask them to help us so that these young people can stay home but still participate in the benefits of the cookie program.
Nice.
One season is not going to take our young people out.
No.
We're not going to do that.
No.
And I trust in as much as I see Minnesotans standing up for each other
They will,
right now,
yes.
they're going to stand up for our young
They
people.
will.
I trust and believe it.
What you got to do is make it accessible.
And we will do that.
Yeah, and once you make it accessible and they realize, and I think it's the story they need to know. We need to know what these cookies do, because a lot of times we buy cookies just because we like to eat them,
Right?
but we don't really realize the stories that are behind it and why it's important that we support that.
Yep.
So I think that story has to be told over and over again.
And we will make sure that we do that. I've had several volunteers reach out and say, hey, I have some teenage Girl Scouts that would dust off their sashes to sell for little ones that can't get out this year.
And that was going to be my next question. How can the community members support the Girl Scouts, particularly during this time? But when times were good, anytime, how can we support the Girl Scouts and the endeavors that they have?
Well, I appreciate that. And we're actually going to be putting out a marketing campaign that really focuses on, Minnesota this year. It's going to be a different kind of season. And we are depending on you to wrap your arms around all of our Girl Scouts, whether they be part of law enforcement families, whether they be part of immigrant families. I focus on all, right? Girl Scouts doesn't do politics. We do people.
That's what
right?
you gotta do.
And so we want to make sure that every single girl that wants to participate in this program, but might not necessarily feel safe, still gets to reap the benefit. So if you want to volunteer and be an ambassador for a troop and you want to say, hey, I'm going to sell cookies on behalf of this troop, or you want as your company to say, hey, Marissa, tell me where to send the check.
Yeah.
I will gladly give you the address, right? And so just buy the cookies this year and allow us to continue to push these programs that are really moving our kids from just surviving to thriving. Because sometimes we think that leadership is extra. It's not.
Yeah.
This is a basic skill that our young people need to have to inherit the world that they are going to inherit. They need to know how to speak up for themselves. They need to know how to be curious with respect. And they need to know how to stand apart and that difference isn't always bad.
No, it can all be really good.
Yeah.
It can be really good. So last question I got for you is, what's your vision for the next generation of Girl Scouts and leaders?
Mm, I think I'm gonna go back to how we started. Like, I gave you my patch, and my patch says, "Be unapologetically, authentically you."
Mm-hmm.
If I can see a generation of 20-year-olds who look to build up one another instead of tear each other down, and look to build and collaborate with one another because they see the strength in another woman across the room, whether it be in corporate, nonprofit, philanthropy, does not matter. How are we building up instead of tearing down? Right. And if that can be the focus and that can be our nature, right? It's not necessarily nurture anymore because we learned how to do it and now it just becomes a part of us, then we are shifting the way that we work. We are shifting the ecosystem in which we are growing into. We have young people that aren't searching for themselves. They are figuring out how to be who they are in the environment that they are placed in and helping that environment to thrive.
No.
Like, that's the possibility of investing in Girl Scouts. We are building amazing leaders who are not seeking outside validation. I always tell our babies, validation is for parking. It's not for you, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And they can remember that.
And they can remember that. And then they recite it back to me in my moments of like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't know."
Yeah, remember the
But it's
parking?
good. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Validation is not for you.
I love it. Well, Marisa, did I miss anything? Is there anything you want to share with the Tracy's Keeping It Real audience and making sure that they know about the programs and the great work you're doing and anything that they can be involved in or anything that I missed that you want them to hear?
I honestly think, one, I'm just going to say thank you for having us on today because the opportunity to talk about what we do each and every day is really special. I would say follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, Girl Scouts RV for Instagram, and go to our website and see all the different opportunities that we have. We are always looking for amazing board members. So if you're interested in serving, we'd be happy to have you.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well, see, there's so many different ways that we can get involved that there's no reason why you shouldn't. So, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on, and thank you so much for doing the great work you do and just being here to continue to represent. I'm very happy to see you in the seat you're in,
Thank you.
and thank you for joining us today. So until next time, remember Tracy's Keeping It Real and follow us. Follow us on LinkedIn and all the different areas that you can find us at. And just remember, and we are always keeping it real.